So let's talk about this leading, right? How do you know if you're leading effectively? How do you measure your effectiveness, you know, as a leader and with your leaders?
Yeah, I would say results matter, that they're critical. They're really, really important. They're not the only thing. So you have to be really careful that when you're creating a scorecard, and that's exactly what we call it around here as a scorecard, that you have indicators, performance indicators that are balanced. And so you want things that are activity generated. You want to make sure that those indicators are very clear and quantifiable, and that people understand them. But you also want other things. It could be that you're looking at maybe spiritual health. One of the things I measure is organizational health around here. What is our culture like right now? And the way that I get that data is that we survey our staff, and I do staff interviews very randomly and ad hoc, where I take people out for coffee or out for lunch, and I ask them really like just informal questions about how they're feeling about working with the ministry. You have to have balance. So you want things that are quantifiable, and you want things that are qualifiable. You want stories. You want to hear about life change. Those are things that are difficult to measure, but are really, really important. It's kind of a little bit like the dashboard in your car. You want to make sure that you're not just looking at one thing. Is my gas tank full or empty? You need to be looking at all kinds of things. There are several different measures. So I would just really, it depends on what kind of a leader you are. So I would encourage those who are watching or listening to make sure that if they are one of those people who is really passionate about quantifiable results, that they look for others that work with them and for them, then help them kind of balance that out with qualifiable and anecdotal results, and stories, and vice versa. If you've got somebody who's more of a storyteller and more relational, that they have someone around them who is a numbers person and who loves to keep track of, attendance and how many people have been saved. But just be careful you don't lean too heavily on one side or the other.
Yeah. So just to translate that into youth ministry language, because we are a nonprofit ministry, which is, we're a ministry focused, but we use a lot of business language internally. Qualifiable and quantifiable, quantifiable, maybe the number of baptisms that we have, new conversion growth, what kind of impact are we making in our community? The qualifiable, the quality of our disciples that we're making. How do we know the spiritual maturation points in our students? Those are measurements that are really, really super important. So be thinking about that as Debbie talks. What are those qualifiable and quantifiable results? And Deb, what I love about your leadership style is you really are about, listening and loving and learning, but you're also about leading, and you're about results. And those are rare. Oftentimes you get relational leaders that, it doesn't matter how many kids we're impacting. It just matters that we're here in the room and we love each other. And then you get the other side is just drive, numbers, but we don't really care. We leave dead bodies, around us because we're just getting to the results, And so really finding that balance is really, really good.